disciplined defense. And I said this early on in our group chat that it felt like the Bills defensive line and defensively in general, specifically the defensive line, were trying to go for the sacks. And there were times where they kept the contain pretty well, but Mahomes, there were moments where he just scampered away. I think about that 40-yard scamper right off the rip, and I think the defensive line eventually settled down, but Mahomes only gets sacked, let's see here, I'm looking at it, 2 times for 8 yards. The Chiefs sacked Josh Allen 2 times for 16 yards. It's just like there were so many opportunities to keep him in the pocket and the Bills to have their way with them, and it didn't happen. It's like the Bills are disciplined, but they weren't. I just don't really know how else to say it. And Mahomes ends up completing 33 of 44, good for 75% completion percentage, 378 yards and 3 TDs. And that's not to take anything away from Josh Allen, because he threw 27 of 37, 72.9 yards, or 72.9 completion percentage, 329 yards, 4 TDs. It's just, defensively, I feel like this team just wasn't it. This is the number 1 pass defense, and they didn't look it. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Particularly early in the game, there was lots of chances to really hem Mahomes in, and I saw Greg Rousseau do it a couple times. I saw it from a couple other guys of this. They were leaving their feet to try to kind of get in passing lanes, and Mahomes would do, a little.
Yeah, they bit on the pump fake so many times.
Yeah,
it's just like,
and I texted the group,
Greg Rousseau is so tall, you don't need to jump.
Just put him up. Yeah, and I think that's part of what comes with, experience in the league, experience in the playoffs of like, if you put out your hands and they're that high and you don't get there, you don't get there. But you got to stay on your feet and continue trying to make that play. And I think that got patched up a little bit throughout the game. But I feel like what we saw here was kind of, it'll lead me into a little side tangent here, but we saw 2 of the best offenses in the league going at it. I feel like we missed Trey in this game. And it's the first time we've really had to feel that. But this game ending up in overtime, A, it shouldn't have gone there. But B, just from an NFL standpoint, you have 2 of the best offenses in the leagues just duking it out. I think there was 2 touchdowns scored in the last minute and then a field goal to tie it up, to take it to overtime. And then just kind of the overtime system being broken to me of, they've made some strides, and the game used to end if you got the ball first and you got a field goal, then you won the game. Now they've amended it to you at least have to score a touchdown.
Stupid.
Which is right. And in a game like this where you have 2 high-powered offenses just throwing punches, for the other team to not even be able to get on the field, just think of how many, from like a fiscal standpoint for the NFL, how many more viewers are tuning in for another half an hour, how many people might join the game, how much more this game's going to be talked about, like if the Bills offense just gets a chance to come out and match it. And I understand that's like semantics and it's not how the rules are set up, but I think it's, when they get together and talk about, what's a catch? Did he maintain possession? I think overtime rules are something that needs a hard look at.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm not saying that those rules, and I know you're not saying this either, but I know those rules aren't the reason why the Bills lost the game, and it is what it is, It, as much as I hate to say that, because it's like, the ultimate
Wow.
palms to the hand, palms to the air kind of thing. It's like I would have loved to see if Josh Allen. Actually, no, I know. I can't say that definitively, but I have a good feeling that Josh and the Bills' offense could have kept that thing churning because they were hitting their stride. It was like their offense was inevitable at that point, especially on the money downs. And it's just a shame. I really, and I'm not just, let's take a step back outside of this game. Multiple games outside of this year that went to overtime that got ended because the first team who gets the football first, quite literally because of chance, scores a touchdown. The losing team doesn't get the opportunity, and I'm not so sure that's fair. And that's not what we're gonna focus this podcast around. But I really do like how, I don't know if it's like this anymore, but in college rules, how they let you trade blows starting from the off or your opponent's 25-yard lines, and you just kind of keep going and going and going until it's over. That is cool. I like that. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how Travis Kelce caught that 8-yard touchdown on Matt Milano, and it's not really, it is what it is, but I just felt like our defense was kind of winded at that point and not much we could do.